On May 5th, Palantir is expected to announce their earnings, and over the last month, we have seen a very nice run up in the stock price as it has moved up over 50%. However, with that significant of a move up, investors need to ask themselves how much is being priced in ahead of earnings, because right now, analysts have EPS estimates sitting at 13 cents and revenue estimates of $862.13 million. And this is consistent with what we see on Yahoo Finance. They have an average EPS estimate again of 13 cents with a low estimate of 12 cents and a high estimate of 15 cents. This is a year-over-year increase of around 60% from this average EPS estimate to what Palantir posted last year of 8 cents of EPS. And obviously a 60% increase year-over-year in earnings is significant. That is nothing to bat an eye at. However, again, we have to consider how much of this is actually priced into the stock. If we look at the EPS trend over the last 90 days, analysts have actually increased their EPS estimates from 11 cents 90 days ago to, again, the current estimates of 13 cents. But you can also look at the flip side of things, because over the last 4 quarters, Palantir has beaten EPS estimates each and every quarter. 4% last year at this time, 10% in June, another 10% in September, and then most recently in December, they beat by almost 24%. The problem is so many people right now are bullish on Palantir, and these beats are starting to get priced into the stock, because we can see that during their last quarter's earnings report, they announced guidance for Q1 of 2025 for revenue to come in between $858 million and $862 million. And as I mentioned earlier, the average estimate from analysts is sitting at the high end of their guidance. It's sitting at that $862 million mark. That is up from $634 million a year ago, which is almost an increase of 36% year over year. So overall right now, we are seeing a lot of bullish behavior around Palantir's stock. The stock price alone has moved up over 50% in the last month. Over the course of the last 90 days, EPS estimates from analysts have increased, and they are also providing revenue estimates that are on the higher end of the company's guidance. And there is the possibility that Palantir comes in and blows away revenue estimates. We can see that the trend really over the last year and a half has been in the upward direction. In June of 2023, they hit a low growth rate for their top line of around 12.6%. However, since that time period, they have increased their revenue growth significantly. As of their most recent quarter, growing their top line by over 36%. And we can see that Palantir's bottom line numbers over the last year and a half have increased significantly as well. Their current trailing 12-month GAAP EPS is sitting at 19 cents. It is down slightly quarter over quarter. However, they had a SARS-related expense last quarter that dropped their EPS from 7 cents down to 3 cents. Before we go any further, if you've enjoyed the videos so far, please go down below and drop a like. It really helps the channel out, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And there are certainly reasons to remain bullish on Palantir, as they recently announced continued partnerships with Google. Google released the following statement: "At Google Public Sector, we are committed to helping our customers execute their missions. Now we're expanding this commitment by adding support for Palantir's FedStart platform, so public sector customers can utilize software and applications on Google Cloud's accredited infrastructure through Palantir FedStart platform. The combination of world-class solutions, Google's global scale infrastructure and security, and Palantir's turnkey compliance will accelerate innovation across US government agencies." And this continued partnership between Google and Palantir is clearly aligned with both of these companies' long-term strategies. Recently, we saw Google acquire Wiz, which is a leading cloud security platform, especially in the AI industry. So it's clear that Google is looking to build out their security base, and utilizing Palantir as a partner helps show how secure their their platform truly is. It is great to see these continued partnerships, but at the end of the day, investors want to see these reflected in companies' numbers. So Palantir last quarter reported 36% growth on their top line. For this quarter, I think we need to see Palantir at least at 34% growth year over year, if not somewhere closer to 37%. I think if they start getting over that 40% number, that is probably not being priced in right now. But with the stock moving up again 50% in the last month, I think investors are already pricing in at least revenue growth of 35%. And for Palantir to hit 35% growth on their top line, it needs to come from the US. This happened last quarter as well. Their US commercial revenue last quarter grew by 64%, while their US government revenue grew by 45%. We need to see this continue into this next quarter. We need to see US commercial revenue growing in that 60% range and government revenue continuing to grow around 40+%. And the other important metric that investors are going to be paying attention to is Palantir's net income, or their EPS. At the end of the day, over the last 5 years, Palantir has made a major flip into profitability, and we have seen them continue to grow their top line at a very fast pace. What investors want to see from a software as a service business is continued growth of their bottom line as they see expansion of their top line. And we have seen this consistently for Palantir, but it needs to continue into the future. And I'm not just talking 1 quarter into the future, 2 quarters into the future, or even 3 or 4 quarters into the future. Because right now, Palantir is trading at a forward valuation of 212. That means that so much of future earnings are currently being priced into Palantir stock. We can also look at their market cap. It reflects the same thing. Back in March of 2024, their market cap was sitting at $51 billion. It has since increased to $270 billion. So in my opinion, right now, I think a lot is being priced into Palantir's stock. I think it's going to be difficult for it to move up after earnings unless they come through with major beats on their top line. Like we talked about, I think they need to come in with growth of 40+% on their revenue and potentially EPS numbers of 15 cents or more. But of course, that doesn't mean to buy or sell the stock. Right now, I hold Palantir stock. I only have 10 shares. I had 100 coming into 2025, but I ended up selling out of 90 of those shares. So right now, my cost basis is $93 on this position, and it's worth over $1,000. So this has been my highest performing position with over 1,000% gain. And I'm not going to sell out of the rest of my shares because at the end of the day, Palantir has shown that they can consistently outperform. Within this portfolio, I also hold Google, Super Microcomputer, Microsoft, AMD, Adobe, Visa, SoFi, PayPal, Alibaba, and Apple. And I did want to call out that today's Super Microcomputer moved down by almost 18%. However, because I've averaged in at such a low price, I'm currently only down 3% on this position. I'll probably make a dedicated video, but basically some news came out around weak demand for Super Microcomputer. They preliminarily announced some of their earnings, and I have some questions around whether that's actually a Super Microcomputer problem or whether we're going to see that across the AI industry, especially from companies like AMD and maybe even Nvidia. So let me know if you want to see a video on Super Microcomputer. I also saw a number of comments last video around asking for me to make a video on Adobe. I will likely do that here this coming weekend and put that out for you guys. Thank you guys for the support. Keep in mind to not buy a stock just because some random guy on YouTube talked about it. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. Thank you guys again for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day. And for the joke of the day, we have a really good one. What kind of music should you listen to while fishing? Check the comments down below for the answer. Thanks for watching.